I'll call our meeting to order at this time. I'm not very loud apparently. If everyone at this time would join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. At this time, would everyone stand and say our pledge? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Board members, at this time, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the prior board meeting. Have a motion by Mr. Johar. Second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor of approving the minutes of the prior board meeting, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Down to approving the agenda. Board members, if there are no changes or additions, I need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Wells. Second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I hear none. And recognitions, Ms. Carla.
Well, good evening, board members and all of you guests. This evening's recognition is going to go to several individuals who serve as site-based council decision, site-based decision-making council members. Say that 3 times twice. School councils promote shared leadership among those who are close to the students. Membership of each council includes parents, teachers, and an administrator in each school. The council has the responsibility to set the school policy and make decisions outlined in statute, which should provide an environment to enhance student achievement. Each council must create an environment in its own school that will result in high levels of student achievement. The site-based decision-making statute also holds each school council accountable for how well it meets this responsibility. All policies and decisions made by a school council must contribute either directly or indirectly to achievement of that overall mission. Shared decision-making results in a greater commitment to enhancing student achievement. These individuals meet on a regular basis, monthly basis, and then when a need arises. They have or will be presenting to you here, board members. I know this month we've had several already, and you still have some more to go, to inform you of how their school year has been going in each school. The Muhlenberg County Board of Education wants to take this time to show gratitude to each council member for their time and dedication to the success of our students. So I've asked Mr. Perkins to come up. He is our site-based decision-making coordinator and trainer, and he's going to present these certificates of appreciation. I've also informed our principals, as you know, we have 8 schools, so that's 40 plus people. I do have a few of those here tonight, but for the most part, we'll have our principals give those certificates back to their council members at the next meeting. But this is a group that I feel like we don't recognize very often. They don't get paid for the service that they do for our schools, and we just want to show appreciation to them. So I'm going to start with Bremen. I don't believe anyone is here from Bremen, so Mr. Sharp is going to come up and I'll read the names of those. We have Carrie Beth Atcher, Lindsay Ward, Amanda Robertson, Katie Willis, and Megan Brannon. If you all will take a picture with Miss Penny, please. Can we get a clap for Bremen? Now for Central City Elementary, I'm going to ask Ms. Higgs to come up. Rhonda Strader, Rollins Terrell, Crystal Woodruff, Michelle Arnold, Stacy Christerson, and Brittany Hatfield. Thank you, Simplicity. Now to longest, Mr. Hardison, Renee Kincaid, Misty Sanders, Sarah Wester, Monica Beals, and Jared Baker. Thank you, longest. And now to Greenville Elementary. Yes, we do have one here tonight, but I am going to ask that Miss Jones, she can come up as well. I know she's trying to avoid this nice picture. So come on up here. Oh, she's up. That was a low bow. Renee Bogus, Matt Adams, Mr. Josh Calso, who does double duty, as you'll soon hear, Angie McPherson, and Candace Lyle. Thank you, Greenville.
Here, you take yours. We'll take a picture. Yeah, there you go.
And to South Elementary, Mr. Wells is here, Penny Gates, Casey Mefford, Loretta Fleming, Stacy Jordan, and James Knowles III. South Elementary. And to North Middle, Mr. Rager, Jessica Cotton, Heather Harris, John Lovell, Robin Oldham, and Misty Pogue. North Middle. South Middle, Mr. Lyle, here he is, great. Gwen Carver, Sarah Carey, Lee Jones, Helen Eves, and Stephanie Thompson. South Middle. To finish our night, we have several here, and I'm excited. So Miss Bumps with the high school, if she'll come up, and as I call your name, come up. Miss Krista Thompson, Bill Bryant, Jill Stewart, Christina Groves, and Mr. Josh Calso.
There it is.
Muhlenberg County High School. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you, site-based members who came.
Thank you, Ms. Embry. At this time, we're going to move down to our treasurer's report. Mr. Blutzinger.
Thank you, Chairman Rager, distinguished board members. Tonight I bring you the financials as of March 31st. And it's not working. There we go. The revenues are as follows. This month, the beginning balance is about $25.7 million. Our monthly receipts of about almost $3 million, 2.991. The beginning balance, it is down by $1 million. However, our monthly receipts are up about $272,000 from last month and $370,000 from the same period last year. Also, just wanted to kind of fill you all in. We had our bond sale for the Guaranteed Energy Savings Project. Those funds were just deposited today, actually, into our account, which is going to help on gain a little bit of interest until those funds are starting.
But it don't reflect this report here.
Excuse me?
It's not on this report here.
No, it's not, because it happened today. The one thing I will also mention is that, we did the independent Moody's rating that I discussed last month. Between that and the timing of the bond sale, we got more favorable interest rates, and it saved us close to $890,000, that would be great, $890,000 over the life of so almost $1 million saved just on some phone calls and
Some meetings.
just, demonstrating the strength of our district. So I think that's a testament to everyone in our district.
Thank you for taking the time to do that.
Yes,
For doing that.
yes.
I'm glad we did it. So for the total revenues of cash and receipts of $28.6 million. So expenditures are as follows. In accounts payable, we had approximately $1 million that went out in March. About $565,000 were general fund expenses. About $332,000 of that was debt service, and food service about $110,000. Payroll was about $2.73 million. Again, that's right on par with what we've expected, especially given the CERS rate increases and those sorts of things. The one thing I do want to mention is that our sub costs are down about 4.25%. So last month it was 5%, but overall we're down 4.25%. So we're still on track to be saving money this year, and I'm really proud of the staff on that. Additionally, a significant bill in February was again $332,000 to Old National. Was our debt payment for total expense of $3.7 million. The accounts payable breakdown, fixed and mixed expenses were close to $700,000, utility expenses $125,000, and variable expenses almost $186,000. So of the total accounts payable of $1 million, $505,000 was general fund. Special revenue, or Fund 2, was approximately $60,000. Debt service, $332,000. Food service and daycare, almost $111,000. The ledger balance at the close of the month was about $24.9 million. The bank balance about $16.79. Outstanding checks of $721,000, and a cash balance of about $16.2 million. Breakdown of that $24.9 million, almost $17 million in general fund. That's down about $500,000. Our special revenue is at a negative balance. However, we did receive more payments, so we increased in that respect. Debt service decreased to $332,000, and everything else is pretty much on par. So total decrease about $754,000. The extended financial picture, which through August 9th of 2019, we expect the balance to be at about $10.9 million. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions regarding the treasurer's report?
Are the bond proceeds in this calculation or for extended?
They are not,
Okay.
just because we hadn't received them yet, so I didn't want to plug them in. I'm sorry?
What's the amount?
7.25. I didn't want to plug those in quite yet, just I wanted to make, I wanted it as of March. What I will mention is that, working closely with the bank to get our collateralization taken care of, make sure they have the funds to back that. I've also worked with them in that we expect that the funds will be fully expended within 6 months, 6 to 7 months after it's been put in. That's when the project should be hopefully wrapping up mostly. So we expect a lot of those funds to be in outflow in the next couple months, really, to purchase equipment and fixtures and all those sorts of things, and the rest of it will be the labor that we expect to pay for.
If there's no other questions, I need a motion to approve the treasurer's report. Motion by Mr. Johar. Second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor of approving the treasurer's report, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And payments of bills and salaries. Mr. Lipsy.
Thank you again. This month, I bring $221,831.79 in board bills. Of that, about $184,500 is general fund. Fund 2 is $31,000. Construction is $3,000, and food service daycare is about $2,700. And in these board bills, there really weren't any standout bills, just all the common ones.
Any questions on bills and salaries? I make a motion to approve payment of bills and salaries. Second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of paying bills and salaries, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then down to payment of school bills. You've had a chance to review this. Is there any questions regarding payment of school bills? If not, I need a motion to approve. Motion by Mr. Bowers, second by Mr. Johar. All in favor of paying school bills, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And we're down to public participation. Sherry?
She'll never seem more important than after this.
We miss Sherry. There is no one on here, and thank you for that.
I'm here for it.
We'll move on down to the administrative report. She's gonna like watching this when she comes back. Moving down to the superintendent report, Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Chairman Rager, board members. I would like to say at the beginning, we obviously miss Sherry. If you're watching, we miss you. Hurry back.
Please.
I'd like to welcome our youth leadership students here today. We have several students in youth leadership that are here. Kind of wave at the crowd, guys, if you will. The front row, pretty much all of them. You would be so proud of these students. I saw them, each of you spoke at Chamber, right? Each of you had a part. Amazing. I mean,
had the
you know, I
opportunity
still
to
struggle
speak.
now, and I'm 55, and they get up in front of that whole crowd, and they absolutely nail it. You would have been, they represented us very, very well. So proud of you guys, and glad you're here tonight. Just a reminder, we have some more site-based presentations Monday. I think that starts at 4:30 with North Middle, then Central City at 5, and Bremen at 5:30. I thought the others, went really well. Really proud of the schools. Thought they did a really nice job, and those were good. I think you have the graduation dates. Just as a reminder, you should have all of those. Those hopefully are set in stone. Hopefully any threat of bad weather hopefully is now behind us, and we can count on that. Last week, we had a group of our first responders and law enforcement met at Bremen. I don't know, there are probably 40 or 50 there. I don't know the number, but we meet occasionally, and we talked about several things, the upgrades we've had, things we're doing, and we also tentatively set a date for an active shooter training at Bremen this time, and that will be after school's out. I think the day after. I think that Wednesday is when that'll be. I don't remember the date off the top of my head. That's not set in stone. We got to coordinate with everybody in the whole county, so that's not easy. But once again, I want to thank our first responders, because you had folks there from 911, fire departments, police, state police, all our SROs were there, all the principals. I mean, it was just a big group there with one thing in mind: how can we better serve our kids? How can we keep our kids safer? And so another big training. We had one at East last year, and we'll try to every year do one somewhere. We're going to go one end of the county now to see how it works with response time and blocking roads and what needs to be done, because there'll be a different set of problems there. So we'll get you the date on that. You'll be welcome to come and observe that. If you'd like, we'll let you know. I talked to you a little bit earlier about a possible work session next month. We can do it however you want to do it, so we can be talking later. We don't decide it now, or we could just have a long meeting. But a few things that'll be extra is Mr. Perkins will be talking about our upgrades at our entrances at both high school campuses. Alyssa Manning will be here to talk about the Felix Martin Foundation, who is providing the money for us to do that. So she'll speak a little bit. There'll be a representative from Harshaw Train next month to come and speak, give an update on how that's going, because this summer is going to be kind of crazy, especially at the high schools, as they put in HVAC units at both campuses and new lighting across the district. So they'll give us an update. They have assured me they can get all this going, and school will be on time next fall, is one of my big concerns, and they're very confident that's going to happen. We may ask them occasionally if we're still on track. Tentative budget, Eric will be presenting that, and the salary schedule, that will likely be on the next month's one as well. So we can talk. We can just have it in in one meeting and just make it a longer meeting. That's fine. I would like to make it where everybody can be here. When you add a work session, that gets tricky with everybody's schedules. So we'll be talking about that. I went to Knoxville to talk to a TVA representative the Friday before spring break. Eric and I both went to Frankfurt today to talk to state people who deal with that as we try to get a handle on what Unit 3 closing is going to mean to us. And we do know it'll be 2 to 3 years before we see anything, but we don't wait 2 to 3 years before we decide anything. We don't have the answers yet. They don't necessarily talk to each other. We found that out today. And so we'll be running back and forth to try to get a handle on, how bad of a hit that will be for us. We'll keep you updated, but we're starting the preliminary stuff hopefully way ahead of time, so we'll have a plan by the time that gets here. And we're a little more optimistic maybe after today's meeting, but again, they keep saying, but we don't know for sure, we need more data. And that will come from the TVA folks that they, like I said, I wish we could just hook them up together, but that's not working that way. So that's kind of updates on my end. We are trying to do the legwork on that, and we'll go ahead and go to the principals now, and we'll start with Mr. Sharp. Tell us what's going on at Bremen.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you for upstaging me because I had our safety meeting on my list to talk about. I appreciate that, Mr. Davis.
You're welcome.
We had the Curiosity Dome today at our school. It's a big inflatable dome where kids get to go inside. It's almost like a little mini IMAX theater. They had a lot of science videos on it, so they really enjoyed it today. We had Ag Day at our school last week. Kids enjoyed it. It was a nice day. We were worried about weather, but they had all kinds of great things, centers for them to go to, and they had a horse, and they persuaded me to get on the horse, and I wish I would have. Still a little sore. Be quiet, Jerry. We had a meeting we're starting to meet with our 3rd through 5th grade students to work on, talk to them about getting ready for the testing that's coming up in May. And assistant principal and FRC and guidance counselor, we all split the kids up and do that. We're just trying to finish getting them separated for the end of the year, finishing up meetings with different folks and making sure that we're ready for that. We had a dad night recently, and that's where students and parents and teachers got together to share information about where they are academically. And recently had a spring scrimmage, and we're going back over the results of that with our teachers. We had a safety meeting, as Mr. Davis talked about, April 9th at BES, and it was a really good eye-opener for me to see the things that we would need to have in place if something, God forbid, ever happened. And we pray that doesn't, but we got to be ready. So it was a good meeting. Our SRO, Brent Robertson, he and I are always kind of going around every once in a while checking doors. We talked with the fire marshal about some things, and we got some really good information about pod doors kind of open up between each other. So we got some good information about that. I'll share that with Grayson. And it's specifically to my building, his building, the way it was set up. So, and Brent does a great job helping me out looking for those things. And then we're just prepping for our site-based presentation. I just urge you guys, I got one of my members who's really afraid of talking, and I ask you to make sure you just ask her questions, okay? Her name is Carrie Bennett. All right.
She's normally not quiet.
No. Thank you, Mr. Sharp. There is a rumor out there that the horse regretted that as well. Ms. Higgs, Central City.
Lots of things going on in Central City. Some of the highlights, Xavier Richardson, who's a 4th grader, and Chase Codwell, who's a 3rd grader, recently represented Central City Elementary School at the Chinese Bridge Proficiency Contest at Western Kentucky University. On Saturday, March 23rd, they got to show off their speaking skills in Chinese and what they learned about the Chinese culture. We've had the Mobile Science Activity Center last week at Central City. The students enjoyed making biodegradable cord plastic, ice cream in a bag, and soybean lip balm. The other classes learned about horses and soil erosion. Miss Kentucky was also there to help, and then she presented to the student body on setting goals and Kentucky Proud. I do have a shout out to Scott Cronin's FAA students. They volunteered to help with the inside, and thank you to Donna Bucks for allowing them to do so. They did a great job, and in fact, Jason actually said, I'll let them do the teaching. He showed them one time, and then they carried out the activities with the different classes that came in. We've had Norton Children's Hospital bike rodeo come for the 4th and 5th grade to talk about bike safety yesterday. We also took our 4th and 5th graders who scored all proficient and distinguished on last year's K-Prep to the Bowling Green Hot Rods game for Educational Day and had a great time and had wonderful weather. We have Career Fair coming up Tuesday, April 23rd. We have community presentations coming in from 8 to 11 that morning. All the students will filter through those. Then that afternoon at 1 o'clock, our 5th graders will present to the student body. This year we're doing something a little different. We are really trying to get into the 21st century, so all of their presentations will be digital this year. So then they will present to parents at 6 o'clock that night. Friday, April 26th is our Ag Day at Central City, and again, our high school students come in and do that. I always have great presentations, and the kids really enjoy that. Hopefully, if the weather cooperates, we'll have that outside as well. So come on out and see Ag Day and Crew Day.
Thank you, Ms. Higgs. And I do want to jump in now and commend all the principals, front office staff, several folks here, our SROs, all important to Auburn on, about how they handled with the convict out on the run. And you pretty much know he's not around, but you can't treat it that way. And the parents were incredible. And we kind of did a modified lockdown, and which really limits the going in and out. You know, I commend Carla, Julie. They did a great job with communication, getting it out there, and the folks really worked with us on that. So, you know, that was kind of a practice thing that we didn't really want to practice, but we did learn from it. And I do need to commend the folks and principals. You know, in particular, principals did a really nice job with their buildings and working with the public. So I forgot to say that earlier. Ms. Jones, Greenville.
Well, math testing is underway, of course it is at most schools, and we've been extremely proud of the effort that our students are putting forth. They've been working really hard. Do want to appreciate, we had Muhlenberg County High School stand free at Greenville Elementary this morning, along with their sponsors, Ms. Carla Embry and Mackenzie Pogue. They did an excellent job presenting their kindness program, and then Sheriff Allen stayed and presented the junior deputy program to our 3rd grade students. So that went very well this morning. This afternoon, we had Career Day, so we had over 24 career booths set up with our community members. They had a great afternoon, had a lot of fun and enjoyed that. Miss Higgs mentioned the WKU Chinese Bridge Contest. We had 3 students, Haley Childs, Catherine Kidd, and Gracie McPherson, that participated in that. They did a talent. And I do want to appreciate Mr. Rager and Mr. Lyle for letting them come over and present to the middle schools as well. And they actually received 3rd place in the talent, and that was very impressive. Miss Catherine Kidd also did a speech that day during that event, so that's they're doing a great job and getting exposed to that culture. Next Thursday night will be our data night at Greenville Elementary at 6 o'clock, and so we're also going to have a health fair that evening. And Trooper Rob Austin from Kentucky State Police will be giving a presentation on internet safety for parents. So it's going to be a big night next Thursday.
Thank you. I want to jump in here with Miss Embry. Carla, tomorrow night is Braden. Tell us a little bit about what's going on there, and hopefully the weather will work with us. But talk about that just a second.
So boys and girls, and you correct me if I'm wrong, boys and girls both have softball and baseball games tomorrow evening, and there's not going to be an admission fee tomorrow night in hopes that people will give money or bring items for the family as they're away at the hospital. So everyone is encouraged to come, wear orange. There'll be lots of pictures taken just to show support for Mr. Morris.
And there is a backup date should it rain out.
That's right. It'll be Monday, this coming Monday night. Both have home games again. So if it rains us out tomorrow night, it'll be Monday night.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Hardison, longest.
A lot of what's going on at the other elementary schools are happening at Longest. We're really excited about our time to shine when K-Prep season, K-Prep assessment starts. You see teachers wrapping up their instructional practices for the year, and they're getting into their reviews, and we're much like what the other principals talked about, was some of the written assessments and map testing. They're showing some signs of some positive growth through the year. So we're really excited about that, but taking advantage of this time of the year to review and get ready for K-Prep. And then we go through, do some exciting things at the end of the year to have some fun and celebrate a little bit. But it's been a great school year, and before we know it, we're going to have it wrapped up. So anyway, it's starting to feel that way around Longest.
Thank you. Mr. Wells, South Elementary.
Yeah, a lot of the same things have been mentioned that I want to talk about. We had our 5th grade career night a few weeks ago. It was very, very well attended, maybe the most we've had out for our parents since we've been doing that. So I want to thank our 5th grade teachers and students and parents for coming out for that. Rebecca Johnson, our guidance counselor, she organized our end of the year mentor breakfast. That's where students get together with their mentors at the end of the year. They get to sit down for a nice meal. I want to thank Ms. Johnson and all of her work on getting that organized. And again, I want to thank our mentors for coming out and supporting our school and working with our students. We've got a good group. We are finishing up spring math, as a lot of the other schools are, in some of our grade levels. Monday morning, I had a wonderful surprise in my office when I arrived. My office had been turned into Candyland. I want to thank all of my staff for making Monday the best day I've had in a long time. There's a long story behind that, but it worked out great for me. It was decorated so beautifully. The students came by and got to see it. It was wonderful. We finished up our spring writing scrimmage. We're working on the data that's going to yield in the next week. We had our bus evacuations this past Monday, and I want to thank our bus drivers for all the work they do. They do an excellent job at South Elementary. We had a special visit from administrators from the middle school to introduce themselves to 5th grade classes and some of our 5th grade students. That took place this week. I thank Mr. Lyle and Mr. Boyd for making that happen. We also had a visit from the middle school band program today. I want to thank them for coming down and introducing the band program to our students. And then tomorrow's going to be a big day for us. We're having a school-wide field trip to Madisonville, to the movies. We're celebrating the greatest school year. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Wells. And I just happened to visit on Monday, just quite accidentally, and so I walked into his quite interesting office he had. And I do know the whole story, and Mr. Wells started it. That's all I'm going to say. Mr. Rager, North Middle.
Last Friday, the 6th grade girls attended Massillon Community College and participated in the Girls in Engineering program. Very impressed with the program they had. They revamped it this year, and before it was a large group setting. This time they had it reduced down to about 9 or 10 students per group. Went through about 8 or 9 rotations, and like I said, they were very impressed with what they had to offer. Last Friday, also, the 8th grade Untouchable team had a STEM fair. Some of you attended that. If you didn't get a chance to, we're going to have another STEM fair. The other 8th grade team will be tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock. So it's just kind of drop in. You don't have to stay the whole time. Like I said, just go around and just kind of look at some of the projects. The students have put in a lot of hard work, and a lot of thought that's went into the projects. Also, we're on May 7th. We're going to have our K-Prep kickoff. We're going to do some recognition of students. We're going to have the Wolf Brothers come in, and they're going to put on an assembly and a show for us. Also want to invite you to our 8th grade graduation will be May 23rd at 6 o'clock at West Campus. You're invited to attend. I do want to thank Ms. Bumps for every year she accommodates us and lets us go to West Campus so we can have air in the gym. So anyway, thank you.
I wish I'd thought of that like 10 years ago. Well done. Those were some high graduations. Mr. Lyle, South Middle.
Recently, our 8th graders went on their work-ready trip to the Job Corps and the Wendell H. Ford Training Center. Big shout out to Carla Embry for making that trip possible and organizing that event. Our 7th and 8th grade band, they received a distinguished rating by all 3 judges at the KMEA Performance Assessment at WKU. That was on April 11th. And a big shout out to Mr. Joel Watson, our band director, and our band members for that. The Thistle Cottage, they hosted the Young Artist Showcase, and we had some winners at South Middle. 6th grade division, first place was Ben Scott. 2nd place was Sweeten Hunt. And in the 8th grade division, First place was Madison Morris, and third place was Maria Baga. So congratulations to those students. And lastly, we had our Thank You Thursday today to honor all of our former South Middle School staff who are now retired, and so I had a great event. I felt like a family reunion with them coming back, so it was a great event.
Thank you, Mr. Lyle. Ms. Bumps?
Thank you all. Again, I try to condense it down, but just so much going on in Mustang Nation. I would like to say that I'm sorry I missed Mr. Sharp's Blazing Saddles moment the other day, but thank him and to all the other elementaries for having our kids in there. I know my kids really enjoy that, FFA as well as the advisors, so big shout out to them. We just had our first live scoring event. We had lots of people from the board as well as our English department and some other teachers come in, and Mr. Davis even got out of his comfort zone a little bit, sat down and we met with every single junior individually. Each different people met with a junior to give them feedback on their on-demand writing prompt that they recently had completed so that we could get ready for our K-Prep assessment. It was a great event and probably something that we learned a great deal of how to improve it the next time, but definitely something that we look forward to next year and definitely how to implement it even more for our sophomores. We had our third book frenzy of this year yesterday and our largest, thanks to Ms. Hardison. I'm very excited about that, and we had about 50 people to attend, both adults and kids. We've all gotten a big kick out of that. I think the adults get more excited about the prizes than maybe the kids. But we're already planning our summer event for the kids to sign up and read and the adults to read books with them, and they all get fed. We get to talk about reading and win prizes, so it's a very fun event. We do have Administrative Assistant Day coming up this next week, so I do want to give a big shout out to my front office staff at each campus. They do a great deal of things, and but without them, really the school itself would not run whatsoever. So I do want to give a big shout out to them, as well as our maintenance and tech guys. Our HVAC, the workers are there. As I'm speaking to you this moment, they started on Monday, and they were coming in there as soon as the kids are out the door and working, and maintenance department and Mr. Wells and his department as well. We've all been a great deal of collaboration trying to make sure that things are taken care of so that those guys can get in and out and begin that work so that we can have some awesome air. And I saw some kids very pumped up already on my front row up there shaking their heads. So very proud of my kiddos here that are part of our youth leadership. I'm not so sure as many of them came back as I did ready to be a coal miner, but I do know a few of them were pretty excited about going down beyond under the mines and excited about that. Very thankful for all the volunteers in our county who helped make that possible for sure. I know Mr. Letzinger helps out with that too. Dalton Stanley just competed at the State Skills USA and placed gold in tools identification. That's in our automotive department. So very excited about him. And our girls as well attended the Madisonville Community College Girls in Engineering event. And a shout out to Mr. Rager and Mr. Lyle's 8th grade students. We just had them to come up as a little visit recently so that they could see what it could possibly be like next year as freshmen. And kiddos are ready. We're very excited about them. So thanks for them for working with our schedule as always. And again, board members, don't forget, we have graduation on May the 24th. And so we'll have your place right up there on the stage so that you can help us out with those diplomas. That's all I have at high school.
Thank you. Mr. Watkins, Renaissance Center.
Kind of talking about coal, to kick off our Cedar Grant coal units, Dennis Oliver, who is an engineer with the Riverview mine in Hopkins County, who is Mr. Oliver's brother, who's our math teacher. He came by and spoke to our students a couple weeks ago about coal mining. He discussed everything from the formation of coal, modern safety devices, and he actually showed the kids a slideshow of the Riverview mine that started as a cornfield, whole production of the mine and how it operates today. So it's pretty cool to see that. Always one of my favorite times because my dad's a coal miner and a lot of my family is. So I enjoy it, our teachers enjoy it, our kids do too. And yesterday we had a group of students with Miss Ellis and Miss Kelly Melton who went to the Cedar Coal, took a field trip to the coal fair in Hopkins County at Madisonville Community College. At that time they found out who all placed in the different areas. We had several kids who placed in the different projects that they completed. Micah Sorrells won first place in the t-shirt design. Not only did he win $100, but the shirt that he designed, every kid and everybody that that participated in several counties got a shirt. So that was pretty cool to see. Science, 6th through 8th grade, we had 3 kids place first, second, and third. Joseph Montgomery was first, Haley Robinson was second, Cole Smith was third. Multimedia and music in 6th through 8th grade, Michael Sorrells placed third. Multimedia music 9th through 12th grade, Ethan McLemore was first, Hannah Everett was third, and then in social studies, CJ Kyle was first place in 9th through 12th. So not every category has been scored yet, so we're expecting some more kids to place, and I think right now our kids have won over $600 or $700. So thank you.
Thank you. And I always want to mention something about soft skills, and I'll say Mr. Carver talked about the groups who went over to East from middle school and how mannered they were, and just clapped for some folks there that just kind of above and beyond kind of thing. And these folks right here on the front row, you talk about soft skills. I mean, they will speak, they will look you in the eye, they will shake your hand, they're going to move forward for many reasons, but that's one of them. So we continue to see that, hear that from our community too. We're not perfect, we're working on it still, but it's something that's always in the forefront of what we do, because we know if we can help these kids see the importance of that, we know how big a deal that is when you get a job or you go to college or whatever. So that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. We're going to move down now to our attendance and enrollment report. Mr. Freeman.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members. I have, just to review real quick, our 7th month attendance reports, which was February the 18th through March 18th of this year. This was the month of flu, month of flooding. So it's not, as far as the attendance percentage, it's 90.51, which is down 3.03 for compared to last year, the 7th month. Also down, which is a little shocking, but we're down just 0.7 from last year. Now, I just want to make a statement, because it's complicated, but I feel like I need to touch on it. When I run the SAR at the end of the year, that's where the total funding for the year. We have 10, what we call 10 weather days that we can plug in, and based on the previous year, that same day, we can use last year's day, and during this month, we probably use 7 or 8. So when you look at the reality of it, it's probably close to that 93.54, but it's also eating up most of our weather days. So just wanted to throw that in, and we knew that going in with the flu and the weather, so that we're fortunate. Otherwise, it wouldn't have worked out that way. So as far as enrollment, we're currently at 4,488 for that ending March 18th. Enrollment down 86 from this time last year. We're down 56 students from the last day of school. I keep mentioning that number to you. We were down 8 from last month, and as of today, we have 4,491, which is an increase of 3 students from the end of the 7th month. So, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're down to our board action items at this time. Item A is to consider approving summer feeding program for the summer of 2019. Ms. Cooper.
Chairman Rager and board members, I'm asking that you would consider letting me do a summer feeding program for Muhlenberg County. And if you don't, I'm going to be very sad, because I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning thinking about things to do. What we will do, if you approve this, is we will have different sites set up. We will also have 3 elementary sites set up. And my plan is to I'd like to feed at least 600 children a day, but I'd like to maybe 1,000. So, and I've got a lot of support. I've had people call me, I've had people to offer to volunteer. It's just been outstanding. The community has just been phenomenal. I'm wanting to help feed these kids this summer, so I'm asking that you consider that, please.
I have a motion by Mr. Johar, and I'll second. All in favor of consider approving the summer feeding program for the summer of 2019, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Stay right there. We're going to go down to consider the food service community eligibility provision for elementary, middle, and high schools for the 2019-20 school year.
Every year, this has to come to the board to be approved. What this is where we will feed all of our children, Head Start through 12th grade, breakfast and lunch at absolutely no cost to the student and no cost to the board.
Any questions? If not, I need a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Wells.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor of considering the food service community eligibility provision for all the schools, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none.
Thank you all very much.
Chairman Eric, I want to jump in and say I've never seen anyone more excited about doing more work for no more pay than I have Ms. Cooper here. But it's all for the right reason, kind of like reminds me of what South Elementary did with starting a daycare. You know, it's just extra work, but you're serving the community. So she has been quite excited about feeding a whole lot of kids this summer.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. We're down to considering the technology plan for the 2019-20 fiscal year. Mr. Wells.
Chair and Board, we're asking for the approval of next year's technology plan. Some areas of emphasis will be student workstations, which will be desktops and Chromebooks, teacher replacements at Bremen, Greenville, and Longest. We'll be doing E-rate dollars for network switches at Greenville and the Tech Wing. We're using E-rate dollars for wireless access points at West Campus and some additional ones at North Middle. We'll be using E-rate dollars for the core network switch here at the central office. And we're going to try to move more towards a digital driver's license for teaching digital citizenship. That's some of the highlights of the upcoming technology plan. So at this time, if you don't have any questions, I'd like a passage of the 1920 technology plan.
Any questions? If not, I need a motion to approve the technology plan for the next school year. I have a motion by Mr. Johar and a second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor of considering the technology plan for the 1920 fiscal year, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. We're down to item D, consider amending the 2018-19 school calendar. Mr. Freeman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Board members, we have, due to our closing due to illness, a couple days prior to the meeting, we have to adjust the calendar where we have to add one professional development day and two student instructional days as well as a closing day. Again, doing this will satisfy all the KRS statutes regarding our school calendar requirements. So what I would suggest is we have May 21st, which is an election day. Schools aren't present. Students cannot attend due to the polling. I would recommend that we make that a professional day. Again, that would be Tuesday, May 21st. And then we would add two additional student instructional days. One would be Thursday, May 23rd, and then Friday, May 24th. That Friday, May 24th would again be the last day for students. And then closing day for staff, I'd recommend that we make that Tuesday, May 28th. And again, that's holiday weekend, Memorial Day weekend. So that would be my recommendation to the board at this time. And this will finalize our school calendar for 18-19. Okay.
No more questions asked?
I'm sorry?
No more questions asked?
Right.
Awesome.
Any discussion? Have a motion by Mr. Johar to approve. Second. Second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of approving the amended school calendar, and this makes a professional development day on Election Day, Tuesday, May 21st, and also Thursday, May 23rd, and Friday, May 24th, the makeup days are for students, and the last day as well being on May 24th, and May 28th, closing day for staff. Say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. That's a lot to say.
Thank you, Ms. Sheridan.
Thank you. All right, the next item on the agenda is to consider revised law enforcement officer job description. Ms. Browning.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Basically, what this is in September of 2018, we approved a new job description for our law enforcement officer at the high school. And at that time, in error, the number of days that should appear on the contract was actually put in the job description. So all I'm asking is to remove those number of days from the job description so that they can be placed on the contract.
I'll make a motion to approve the revision of the law enforcement officer job description.
Second.
Second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of approving, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Thank you. Now to consider the revised BG1 for the Bremen Gatton Jean Gish Ballpark. Mr.
All right. Last one. Hopefully this is the last iteration of this BG1. Basically, all I had to do was, KDE has requested that we had the line item for the funds in a donation line item. They asked us to move it to general fund, so all I've done is I've moved the dollar amount from donation to general fund. That's the only difference in this BG1.
Motion.
Make a motion by Mr. Johar, and I'll second. I'm
He's
so
beating you
excited.
over there.
I'll second that. All in favor of considering the revised BG1 for the Bremen Gatton Ballpark, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. We're down to our board consent agenda items, and just wanted to know, we did move personnel actions down to this month because it's just something we do every month, so we just put it in the board consent agenda. So just to kind of let you know, that's why that's there. Is there any questions from the fundraisers, field trips, the surplus, auction items, facilities use, leave of absence, and personnel actions? Everybody's had a chance to review that. Is there anything of question? If not, I need a motion to approve the board consent agenda items.
I make a motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Wells and a second by Mr. Johar, and all in favor of approving the board consent agenda items, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And make a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Students are welcome to come back every month.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you for coming, guys.